The first paragraph of an essay is called the introduction paragraph. This is where you're going to set the stage for what you're going to say in your essay. In this video, I'm going to show you the structure that you need to follow to be able to write a good, organized introduction paragraph. First, let's talk about some things that you should include in your introduction paragraph. The first is that the ideas expressed will go from general to specific. Now, this means that you'll give a general statement and then slowly become more specific as you move forward in the introduction paragraph. The second point is that your first sentence should catch the reader's attention and point him in the direction of the main subject. It could contain a statistic or a quote. Now, the thesis statement will be the last sentence in the introduction paragraph. This is where you're going to state clearly what your essay will be about. The thesis statement should contain the subtopics, which will be used as the paragraph topics in the body. And the order of the subtopics should be the same for both the thesis statement and the body paragraphs. Now, this means that if you have 3 subtopics, A, B, and C, for example, then your first body paragraph will talk about A, and then your second body paragraph will talk about B, and then your last paragraph will talk about C. And finally, the thesis statement states the fundamental point that you're trying to make in the essay. This final sentence should make it clear what your essay will be about. Here's an example of an introduction paragraph. Now, the first sentence gives the general topic about Tokyo. So we can know that this essay will be something about the city of Tokyo. The following sentences give some more details about the city. And then the last sentence, the thesis statement, states clearly what the essay will be about. The essay will be about how doing business in Tokyo can be difficult, but challenging and profitable. Here's another introduction paragraph, this time about globalization. Again, the first sentence shows the general topic. The following sentences give more details about the topic. And then finally, the last sentence, the thesis statement, shows what the essay will discuss. Now, the 3 aspects are very clear: investments in communication, improvements in transport technology, and multinational corporations. Now, let's try using this topic to write an introduction paragraph. Our topic will be how to choose a computer. You'll want one general sentence to start the paragraph and then add more specific information followed by your thesis statement. Your first general statement might be something like this: choosing a computer can be a difficult task. Now you want to add some more specific information, so you could write something like this: knowing a few things about computers will make the job easier. Now you might add some more information. There may be many factors that will affect the choice. And then finally, your thesis statement. Although it can be a challenge to choose from all of the more popular computers on the market today, deciding on the type, brand, and price range will make the task easier. And this is what your introduction paragraph would look like. All right, let's look at a few introduction paragraph patterns that you might use in your essays. Now, the basic pattern will be 2 to 3 sentences about the topic and then your thesis statement. For essays that are discussing situations, you might use this kind of pattern. Your first sentence would be one side of the situation, and then your second sentence would be the other side of the situation. And then finally, sentence 3 would be your thesis statement, what you're going to do or say in your essay. Here's an example. In this question, who should take care of our old people? Sentence 1 could say something like this. In many countries, most elderly people live happily with their children. Now that's one side of the situation. And then sentence 2 could say, increasingly, however, many young families cannot take care of their parents. This is the other side of the situation. And then finally, your third sentence would be your thesis statement. This difficult problem of who will care for that aging population can be solved through government aid as well as cooperation from individual families. All right, here's another example. Does aid to poor countries work? Your first sentence could be, for the last 50 years, poor countries have been receiving large sums of money from rich donor countries. And your second sentence could be, some of this money has improved lives, while much of it has disappeared or made no difference. And then sentence 3 would be your thesis statement. Although aid to poor countries can make a difference in developing countries, more oversight of the funds used and stricter regulations to avoid mishandling the aid are needed. Here's a pattern you could use for opinion introduction paragraphs, where you need to give your opinion about a certain topic. The question here is, does space exploration benefit mankind? So your first sentence could be something like this. Many people see the benefits of space exploration. Now, this is the sentence to show that space exploration can benefit mankind. For your sentence against space exploration, you might write something like this. However, others feel it is a massive waste of money. And then finally, your thesis statement. Although some aspects of space exploration can seem unnecessary, the overall contribution to society justifies further research in this area. Now, this thesis statement shows clearly that your opinion is that space exploration does benefit mankind. All right, here's a question that you could use to practice writing an introduction paragraph. Is cooking at home better than eating out in a restaurant? Now, for your first sentence, write one side of the argument. Cooking at home is better. And then, sentence 2 would be the other side of the argument. Eating out in a restaurant is better. And then your thesis statement would be your opinion about what you think is better. You might want to try this with several essay questions and practice just writing the introduction paragraph to help you become better at writing this important part of an essay. The more you practice, the better you'll be at writing an introduction paragraph. Happy writing!